Now we move on to question 3. So question 4. Solution to question 3. Question 3. Now this question involves merger, taking over of a company by another company. In this case, King PLC is about to take over Queen PLC. Now we are given the extract of the statement of income statement of both companies and extract from their statement of financial position. Now we are told that the ordinary shares of King PLC have a current market value of 3 naira 50 kobo, while that of Queen PLC have a market value of 1 naira 50 kobo, excluding dividend. Now, the directors of King PLC are considering a bid to acquire or take over Queen PLC. And the reason for this is that they believe that this taking over will increase their revenue by 1.5 million per annum, and also will result in a saving of the operating expenses by 1,250,000. Apart from that, they said an asset that is no longer required can also be sold and a cash of 2.5 million can be generated. Now, the directors of the company of King PLC finally have the opinion that once the taking over eventually take place, it will result in a reduction of return by ordinary shareholder to 10%. Now, given this scenario, we have to advise as a financial consultant to King PLC, we have to advise them on the maximum price that the company should be willing to pay for the entire share capital of Queen PLC. We are also required to show how the entire benefit from takeover will be accrued to the present shareholder of King PLC, assuming that the takeover price is agreed at half of the figure we suggested in A. Then we have to discuss other factors that the director of Queen PLC can use in order to reject the proposed takeover. Then we have to other factor that the directors of King PLC can consider, and also Queen PLC, before the proposed takeover is actualized. Then lastly, we have to list the factors or defense tactics that could be used by Queen PLC in order to frustrate, reject, and the takeover bid by King PLC. Okay, so the first thing we have to do now is to ascertain the maximum price that Queen PLC should be willing to pay for the entire share. King PLC should be willing to pay for the entire capital of Queen PLC. So call this A. Computation of the maximum amount King PLC should pay for the proposed takeover. Now note that note that we are given the ordinary shares of both companies. We are given the number of ordinary shares for both companies. And this is for King. Let me put this as King. Queen. We have the issue share capital. This is 50. This is 25. Then we are given their market price per share. This is 3.5, while this is 1.5. So with this, can ascertain the value, total value, total equity value of the company. So this is 175 million, while this is 37.5 million. Now, from the proposed taking over, King PLC after the taking over, King PLC value after the taking over will be, they are going to have let's say the total sales revenue for the King we are told that the revenue of King is 37.5 and Queen is 20 million respectively. So from their sales revenue, this half 37.5, while Queen half 20. Then we are told that there will be an increase in revenue to the tune of 1.5 million if the taking over materialize. So the total sales revenue they will be seeing here is 59.00 million. Apart from this, they will have total operating expenses. Total operating expenses of both companies will also come to let's check. We have King 20 million and Queen 15.5 million, and record that they are going to have a saving of 1,250,000 once the takeover exercise materialize. So we have King 20 million plus Queen 15.5, and they are going to have a saving of 1,250,000. So this will give us total expenses of 34,250,000. So this is the profit from the combination. They are having a profit of 24.75. Now, since we are told that the profit of the company is to be distributed, now we are told that the policy of both companies is that all their profit will be distributed to ordinary shareholder as they are earned. So the implication of this is that the total profit also equal to the dividend. So since all profit is to be distributed, to shareholders, the profit also equal to ordinary dividend, which is equal to 24.75. 22.75 million. Now the value of the company of combined company will be the present value of the future dividend. So the future dividend is 24.75. So we discount it by the cost of capital. Now we are told that the cost of capital of the company is 10%. This is the return expected by the shareholder, which is the cost of capital of the company. So by 10%. Then when you do this, you arrive at 247.5 million. So therefore, the total value of King PLC after the takeover will be discounted ordinary dividend, that is 247.5 million. Then we are told that an asset will be sold, so cash flow from asset disposed. We are told in the question that an asset will be disclosed for 2.5 million. This is another cash flow to the company. We have 2.5 million. So the value of the company in total is now 250 million naira. So the maximum amount Queen PLC should pay to King PLC should be the excess value according to King PLC from the takeover, which is initial value of King before takeover is 175 million. New value from takeover is 250 million. So the difference is what Queen PLC should pay, and that is 75 million naira. Is 75 million naira. Now B part. In the P part, we are required to show how the entire benefit from the takeover will accrue to the present shareholders of King PLC, assuming that the takeover price is agreed at half of the figure we advised. Now, half of the figure in A above is 37.5 million. Is 37.5 million. So note that the total number of shares according to the combined company after the takeover will be the shares of King PLC plus shares of Queen PLC. Now, the shares that will be allotted to Queen PLC we don't know. So let's assume shares of Queen PLC will be Q. Hence, total share will be 50 million plus Q. $50 million plus Q. Total value of King after acquisition is 250 million. We have ascertained that here. It's 250. We have ascertained that here, and also we can also ascertain it as 175 million of King plus 37.5 million of Queen plus 37.5 million additional value from the takeover. However, we should note that for the benefit from the takeover to accrue to the shareholder of King PLC only, the value of King PLC shares issued to Queen PLC must be equal to the agreed takeover price which means now this is the value of King PLC. If you multiply it by the shares that be accrued to King PLC must be equal to the value to the agreed takeover price. So this is the agreed takeover, that is the maximum amount that Queen will pay times the total number of shares of the company. We've represented this by Q. Represented this by Q. 500 plus Q. So we have 250 Q is equal to 37.5 Q plus 500 that is 1875. Let's confirm. Okay. 18750. So you can solve for Q. Our Q is 8823.5. That is 88.235 million shares. Why the market value? So the market value per share after the takeover will be so this will give us the value of the combined company 2 million over the number of shares 0.235, and this will give us 4 naira 25 kobo. So the gain to the existing shareholder of King PLC will be the difference of King PLC will be 4.25, that is the new value of their shares, minus 3.5, that is the value before acquisition. So again to them 4.25 minus 3.5 is 75 kobo per share. Per share, which is times combined shares is 50 million, and this will give us 37,500,000. So the C part of the question, we are asked to discuss briefly any other factors that the director and shareholder of both companies might consider before the acceptance of the proposed takeover. So we have factors to be considered. Factors: King PLC and Queen PLC should consider before accepting the proposed takeover. Number one, they should consider the effect on dilution of earnings. Number two, they should consider and agree on the takeover price. Takeover price agreed upon. Number three, they should consider the reality of the estimate. The reality of the estimate suggested. Number four, they should also consider the individual management. And competitions in the industry. Number five, they should consider the cost of acquisition. especially if the proposed bill fail. To materialize. Also, they should look at the method of financing the takeover. Another factor they will consider is the effect of inflation and taxation on their estimate. Number 8, they should consider the reaction of government. The reaction of government and other players in the industry to the takeover bid. Another factor they should consider is the risks involved. In the transaction. Then lastly, they should consider also consider the effect it will have on the staff of any of the to have on the staff of both, not only the staff, this effect you have, and also the director on the managers. And the deep part, in the deep part, we are to list any 5 defense tactics that could be used Queen PLC can use to frustrate the proposed takeover bid by King PLC. Includes 1. It can make use of the following. We have what we call asset restructuring. Another method they can make use of can make use of what we call white knight defense. Can seek another company with more enticing proposed bid. They can also seek government injunction to restrict or order King PLC not to acquire them. Another method they can use is what we call Pac-Man defense. Under the Pac-Man defense, here Queen PLC also proposed to acquire King PLC. Other methods that can be used include what we call, they can make use of green made defense. You can also make use of what we call crown jewel defense. And so on and so forth. Also, they can plead with the shareholders not to sell their shares to King PLC.